mean, this has been playing since we started. These shots are iconic. These moments are
Yeah.
iconic.
Yeah.
This is like
And,
Zack Snyder's flexing on us, basically.
dude, it is a second
Mhm.
movie, dude. Just
Yeah.
fucking flexing on these hoes. Like,
Oh God.
there's a phrase in film analysis, like every frame a painting. Um, this is truly is every single fucking like millisecond frame.
Yes.
Like that's a frame. That's a frame. That's a frame. That's a frame. They're all fucking
Every frame of
incredible.
wallpaper right there.
Yep.
That's what that is. Absolutely. And I think you talked about this while we were watching the film. Okay. Yeah, that
Still a good shot, dude.
Okay. Oh God, its exposition will never leave us. Okay.
Oh, dude, I was watching that and I was just like, damn, Zack Snyder even shoots exposition better. Like the colors in that scene, you saw it too. The purples, the greens, the lavishness.
God, we're talking about a room full of women of color, and you're like, oh man, the color. It's like, what color are you referring to?
The way it was shot, the curtains, the greens, the
I think
purples.
we see what you truly desire inside, Stewart. It's okay, you can admit it. But regardless of any of that, no, yeah, I really the speaking of colors, the colors in this film are fucking stunning.
Yeah.
I think when people talk about Zack Snyder's movies all being gray and ugly and dirty, I think that something that he does better than anyone else is muted colors and then striking like a color that pops right in the middle. For instance, all the Spartans are decorated in red. So all of these blacks, all of these grays, these dark musky yellows, they're all like they highlight how vivid the red of their capes are and just how powerful they look. I think in terms of like depicting them through like the cinematography, through the color design, it perfectly demonstrates the power and like they are essentially different from everyone else around them. They don't blend into the background. They're not wearing blacks and yellows and reds and blacks and yellows and like grays.
Yeah.
They are cloaked in red that pops every time you see a shot with them in it.
Yep.
And that's what I love about it. It really effectively uses color.
And well, talking about gushing in this movie, Xerxes as a villain, fucking powerful. You know what I mean? Like this movie is very short. He doesn't have many scenes, doesn't have a lot of screen time, but he commands the couple minutes that he's in there.
Yeah,
completely.
For sure.
I feel like Zack Snyder cast everyone in this movie based on two qualities: physical shape and their voice. Because holy shit, when I heard Xerxes' voice go up against Gerard Butler, oh my god. We talk about all the time in like Game of Thrones, like Jorah Mormont has a great voice. Holy shit, dude, these lads have a good voice. You know what I mean?
I think in terms of highlighting some of the best, like Leonidas, the way that he delivers some of his lines, that actor really knew what he was fucking doing.
Yep.
Or alternatively, Zack Snyder really knew what he was doing when directing, because no matter how you look at it, like there's so much life in the character, so much like what's the word for it? It's a word you use for Arya a lot. Range.
Yep.
A lot of range. You can see him as like almost like a jokester when he's like lying to the politicians about where he's going on. We're just going on a walk. When he's saying like there's no reason why we can't have a civil conversation, and he throws his apple. All of those little moments these the big moments when he's screaming, "This is Sparta, this is war," and all of these.
We dine in hell.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That I love that contrast. I love the way that he just brings all of these different sides of Leonidas out. You know.
Absolutely. And back to Xerxes, I just have to keep praising him because he has so little screen time, but the way he commands it, the emotion within his eyes, the rage that is always bubbling beneath the surface when he's talking to Leonidas. You know what I mean? Because like you said, Leonidas is a jokester, a trickster, really gets underneath your skin, and he does with Xerxes, but he is so furious, like tears are about to come from his eyes, you know, and that's on the actor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Zack Snyder can direct a powerful performance, but it's on the actor to fucking like to bring it there.
To life. Yeah, for sure. No, yeah. I loved like the evolution of that character, right? Like we come from like I think he believes his own like idea of like being a god.
Yeah.
And then it's like we slowly see that crumble and fade.
Yeah,
You know.
and going back to what I was saying earlier about like the context of the film is that god complex on the
Mm-hmm.
Xerxes, especially when you see the entire movie the way I do from the perspective of the hype, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not only are you painting the enemy as demons, but you're also painting them as the most powerful. Like they are not depicting them as like non-powerful monsters, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about fucking gods. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the rhinoceroses, the elephants, everything is heightened.
Mm-hmm.
That boss fight, what a great sequence! I was watching
Mm-hmm.
that boss fight, the one where he cuts the eye right
Yeah,
through a
on the
fucking
helmet
helmet.
and then straight to his face. Yeah.
That was a moment where I was just like, holy shit, this is the only movie where I'm just like, that is literally a boss from a video game brought to cinema. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, they've made how many video game movies, but no one can ever make it like that. You know what I mean? Where you
Absolutely.
actually have that feeling of like fighting a boss battle, where you like have to take a couple hits, walk away, take a couple more hits. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that fight felt like, and it took two. It took him and Delios.
Yeah. One thing that I think is kind of interesting in terms of more like framing of criticism of the Spartan way is that one interesting interpretation could be, so Xerxes is kind of treated as like he has a god complex,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like he like orders everyone to follow him, and he sees himself as like greater than everyone else. I wonder because like the Spartans treat Leonidas that way. They treat him as essentially their god. So I wonder how much of that is like it's almost like a flip, right? I wonder how much of that was like actually found in Leonidas in like a true telling of the story. But the way that they like retell it is as in the opposite. Like Leonidas was actually like pure and amazing and godly and perfect, and this guy was the one with the real god complex. Like I wonder how much of that was like
Right.
flipped around
Yeah.
in like a Delios like propaganda story essentially.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would Jesus. I mean, you're describing like an amazing idea. What if fuck all your ideas, fuck the Jesus cut, and what if you just what if you made a sequel to this movie from the Persian's perspective?
That
Same
is the
height.
best way to do
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. Fuck your shit. This is the idea. 300 again, but through the Persian's perspective, where like you just have these fucking rabid curs like coming after him. Like,
Yeah, it's like
holy
a bunch of half naked fucking screeching men going ah and fucking jabbing spears at people, and then
yeah.
people are like, "What the fuck? No!"
Yes, that would
Yeah,
be.
there's interesting ways you can play with it too. It's
Yeah.
like instead of the Persians being like accepting of like deformity or whatever, it could be that they're like in a recontextualization. It could be like they don't solely value you for your power. They value you no matter what you look like or who you are. So they accept people who look differently. They accept people who act differently
Yeah.
because they're like more accepting of a culture.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting things you can do with that.
One of my favorite lines from the movie when he's talking about culture, and he's like, "Well, we've been sharing our culture with you all day morning."
Which is very telling.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Spartans see that as like a ha ha, but their culture literally is just fucking murdering
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
yeah. One of my favorite moments in the movie was something that reminded me of Mulan in the best way possible. Was that scene where they're like marching, girl we're fighting for, and then all of a sudden they see a burned village.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
God, I need a version of that scene, just like a girl worth fighting for, but with 300, like an AMV,
No.
and then it just like
wait,
a perfect.
no.
It's
I
perfect.
I edit them marching with 2.5 men,
And
manly
men,
and then it cuts
men,
when you see the
men.
village. The end.
Oh.
Going on more with the gushings of the movie. This movie, end of line, is why CGI is important to cinema.
True.
90% of this movie, pretty much anything that is not flesh and blood in this movie, is CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be. There is no way that any sky would be that way for the totality of filming. There is no way that when you want to like switch perspectives to that shot of Xerxes right there, that it's now blue. You have to do that digitally, and that's what this movie did phenomenally. Is you have practical effects like their bodies and their costumes, but everything around them has to be digital. and it's for
Yeah.
these reasons. Um,
You like the arrows flying, the true like menace of the arrows flying through the air. How could you ever do that without the CGI to really show you just how fucking massive this fleet of arrows is coming towards them, you
mhm.
know? Like things like that, like really like they come to life through that digital animation.
Absolutely, and there's other scenes like that. You know, when it first shot to the movie, we're talking
Hmm.
about the discarding of the babies. Um, the
Yeah, I
wolf,
mean,
the
imagine if you had to
wolf.
throw real babies off of a fucking
Yeah,
cliff.
super
That'd
cringe
be
team on Twitter would love that, wouldn't he? Fucking baby killer. Um, but you know, shit like that, like the clouds, the wheat
Mhm.
fields, these
The
boats.
fucking boats
Yeah, so
going under the ocean.
that scene right there of the boats in the ocean when everyone's like party rock with the rain flying across the faces and everything.
Hmm.
That moment with Leonidas, that is like, you know, you can only do that with CGI. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it pushes the grounds of films where for so long, and maybe rightfully so, filmmakers were scared to not use practical effects and be called like, oh, it's a video game. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But fucking Zack Snyder said, nah, fuck that shit. And he did it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
And it looks good. It
Yeah.
still keeps up to today.
Yeah, I mean this is the reason why he's able to like transfer to an animated film like Guardians of the Gahul. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because like 90% of 300 is already this.
It's already an animated movie,
Yeah,
like
and
Lion King.
yep, but good
Yep.
with heart and soul. But hold on, if they did make a Lion King movie with the 300 like hype.
God, imagine that retelling.
To be fair, they already did. The way they cast the hyenas in that movie
Oh
is
my
very
God.
300.
Yep.
But that scene right there, we talk about a little behind the scenes as I like to do.
Mhm.
The Oracle underwater, and with CGI. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
To really capture that like mystical.
You're telling me they didn't really drown that woman? Crazy.
Well, I mean, wait, Jesus! In the movie, she's not underwater. What you're saying is they didn't stop the Earth's rotation to then have her hair float, or have her sent up into space and then have no oxygen and die. But the hair would float nice and it'd be
Yeah.
practical. Um, oh, dude, the imagery
Oh, I hope
So
those
good.
elephants weren't hurt.
again, not practically. It's a CGI, my dog.
Oh.
A lot of props to Xerxes on being able to, you know. Here's the thing: a lot of people didn't wear a lot of clothing in this movie.
True.
But Xerxes also was burdened with all this fucking metal that I can't
Oh,
imagine being
God,
comfortable.
yeah.
Kind of gut feeling. You haven't had any time to think about this, Jesus.
Mhm.
What is your Zack Snyder ranking?
You're really hitting me with the hard questions.
All right, with the hard questions. I mean, I'll let you think about it. I'll kind of talk it out, let you stew on that while I stew on the fucking Zack Snyder films. At the top of the list right now, we have Batman vs. Superman, the Ultimate Edition.
Mhm.
Fucking phenomenal. Fucking blows past everything. Then we have Watchmen, the Ultimate Cut.
Mhm.
Fucking incredible. When you have everything, including what he did with the Black Freighter, and if you go one step beyond like me and you put in that like under the hood shit, the companion documentary, that is like some god tier, but it is a behemoth. You know what I mean? The thing that makes Batman vs Superman rise above is its its concise nature with its characterization.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Then below that, probably put
Though you do have to consider the fact that, technically speaking, Watchmen is covering more, in the sense that it also has to set up all of its characters, right? Man of Steel gives Batman and Superman the luxury of having like the conflict with Superman and Lois Lane and all that story set up beforehand, whereas Watchmen. It's like a massive size as a film is because it's covering like all of that in one movie, basically.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not to say that it's better than Batman vs Superman. I'm just saying there's
it's a
value to
it's
it.
conversation. We're talking top tier.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about two of his films, BVS and Watchmen, both cinematography from Larry Fong. So like
Damn.
hands in the fucking air. Also cinematography right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is really close, but it would say it would be Man of Steel then 300. But very very close. These are like the god tier of Zack Snyder. Batman versus Superman, The Watchmen, the Man of Steel, and the 300. The top 4 right there. You have any?
So what I'll say is, Batman vs Superman. Though I will admit, ever since I saw the Ultimate Edition with you, that has always stayed in my mind. So Watchmen is a close second.
Okay.
I think upon further viewings, it could. It is just it's so ripe with great writing, with great visuals. The way that it weaves so many different stories along with its like main plot about the Watchmen, like it's so fucking powerful. I really and if any movie is a perfect criticism of like the ideas that are being pushed by like the war, like the what the heroes are meant to represent, like that film truly encapsulates the exact thing that I feel like 300 like could have used more to push it towards that.
Well, yeah,
like,
but twice as long.
Yeah.
What you're able to accomplish with a twice as long runtime. And
Yeah.
That's why 300 is like my 4th favorite Zack Snyder film, is because of its length. But, still better than Dawn of the Dead, still better than Sucker Punch.
Well,
and
wait up there, buddy. Okay. So first, after Watchmen, we got Man of Steel. Now, here's the thing. I haven't seen Sucker Punch since it came out, and I haven't seen Guardians of Gahul since it came out. So I don't feel like it's right for me to rate them on this list.
For sure.
Quite
Yeah,
yet.
That's the reason why I'm not listing Gahul, because I haven't seen that since it came out. I saw Sucker Punch more recently, and in my opinion, I would probably... it's very hard, because visually, Sucker Punch is like so much better than Dawn of the Dead. But I might put Sucker Punch over Dawn of the Dead.
Now, one thing that definitely stands out about Sucker Punch is that I think it's missing pieces. Like it feels like it's trying to tell a story, but it's almost like restricted in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
there was a lot with that movie that it was fought on. I mean, grounds of a lot of Zack Snyder movies. Snyder Cut was fought because of it being too dark. Literally, they wouldn't allow the costume department to make a black suit for Superman because they said it was too dark for a comic book movie, which is like, wow.
Yeah.
So, incredible behind the scenes story. Zack Snyder actually worked with the visual effects supervisors back in 2016 to make sure, like, okay, make a costume that is receptive to the color change. So we can change it to black and white if they let us.
Right.
And they fucking did.
But like in that point, like I think that and I'm spitballing here, but and it would require rewatches. I remember that I really connected with some of the characters in Sucker Punch, so that one might be in a gunning for 4th place spot. But it's been too long, and
Sucker Punch over this.
Yes.
Okay.
But again, this is all
a warranted
15-year-old Jesus's memory coming in.
A warranted rewatch is
it's necessary
welcome.
For sure.
Yeah.
So for now, for sure, 300 will take the 4th place spot.
Okay.
Followed by Dawn of the Dead, and then with 2 unlisted, which are in need of rewatching.
Yeah.
But I think the true takeaway from this podcast, Stewart, is that the Virgin, less than 2 hour 300, just can't stand up to the monolith that is the 4-hour Chad Watchman. That's just a fact, and you know it. I know it. You know it. You put it 2 slots higher.
Wait. Okay. So, what Jesus doesn't know, because he's not from the future, is that Watchmen is like 3.5. The Chad 4-hour and 20-minute Zack Snyder's Justice League is the true
That's
Chad.
the true Chad.
Yeah.
Okay, I take it back.
Yeah. Fucking better.